Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030. In collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute Center for Arts Sciences and Well-being, so before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
So with the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today is commemorated as National Farriers Week in US. It is observed on the second week of July every year and is a chance for horse owners, riders, trainers, and admirers to appreciate and celebrate these experts who ensure that every horse hoof is cared for. The farriers. If you have never heard this term before, worry not. You will leave here with more knowledge than you came in with. A farrier is basically a person who practices the art of shoeing horses. The word farrier itself comes from the French ferrier, which means blacksmith. This in turn would be derived from the Latin ferrum, which means iron, hence the symbol Fe for iron in the periodic table, and was apt for a blacksmith who mainly worked with iron. Farriers of old would make horses and also shoe horses. Therefore, no one would know the workings of the horse legs better than the farrier, and no better person to ensure that the horse receives the best care. This alone is worthy of appreciation, so saddle up and get ready to pay homage to these experts for all they do. If you are a member of a equine community or just someone who wants to appreciate those who contribute greatly to the welfare of horses, National Farriers Week is perfect time to honor the farriers who keep horses in tip-top condition. Celebrated in the second week of July each year, it was founded in 1998 by the American Farriers Journal to bring to the light the growing dearth of farriers in the equine community. Farriers are those who work with all equine species, which include horses, donkeys, and mules. Though farriers are almost akin to veterinarians, they are not counted as such because their contribution lies more in the equine industry, specifically often working at racetracks, and stables. Essentially, the job of farrier is to keep horses' hooves healthy and increase their longevity of the movement. Historically, the profession and art of farriery can be traced back to ancient Rome when horses wore horseshoes made out of leather or raw hide stripes, referred to by Romans as sandals. Before the Norman conquest of Britain in 1066, there is an evidence to suggest native Britons at the same time also shod their horses. There is a story that William the Conqueror's farrier was given his own coat of arms and the surname De Ferrer, which could be a reference to St. Hilary de Ferrers, an iron making district in France, which also a reason for the meaning behind the term farrier. Farriers of old has to be experts in both making shoes and shoeing the horses, and they were looked upon as general animal doctors too. It wasn't until 1887 in England that the Worshipful Company of Farriers set exams to test tradespeople on their knowledge, expertise, and the ability to shoe horses and care for their teeth. Since then, the job of farrier can only be obtained after a rigorous apprenticeship period, which is reason enough as to appreciate all farriers do. Today is also commemorated as the Alice in the Wonderland Day to celebrate the world of imagination and madness on Alice in Wonderland Day on July 4. The amazing fictional world created by Lewis Carroll in 1865 is the telling of a young girl who faces worldly obstacles at a tender age. More than a century later, the book continues to enjoy popularity among the masses, not only for its original story, and characters, but also because of subsequent movies that have been made of it. People also enjoy other adaptations like theater performances, as well as numerous types of Alice in Wonderland merchandise available today. Apart from all superb details related to the story, the titular character is based on a real life person. So, July 4th is a special day for Britishers and fans of fantasy, as the world renowned story of Alice in the Wonderland is celebrated and honored. Lewis Carroll, whose original name was Charles Lutwidge Dodgson, was born in Cheshire, England. He was the third child and the eldest son. Just like his siblings, he suffered from a stammer, but he did not allow that to hinder him in life. In early years, Carroll received his education at home. His aptitude for reading led him to read books like The Pilgrim's Progress. He later on went to rugby school, and from there he enrolled at the prestigious University of Oxford. His ease with academics secured him first class honors in the subject of mathematics, moderations. Carroll studied and taught at the university for a few years later. Today is also commemorated as Filipino-American Friendship Day in US on July 4th every year to mark their historical alliance with the US. The relationship between the two countries started as hostile one and then, with the intervention of another force, to a friendly. Philippines believe the good they enjoyed from America outweighs the bad they suffered from them. They dedicated to celebrate their friendship with the country, and did America greatly assisted the Philippines to fight the invading Japanese forces during World War II. The celebration of Filipino-American Friendship Day follows more 100 years of shared history between the two nations. The beginning of a good relationship between the two countries could be said to have started in 1946 when the Philippines gained their complete independence from the US. To show appreciation for the assistance offered to them when the Japan attacked the Philippines government, designated July 4th as Independence Day. It is also Filipino-American Friendship Day. The country has previously obtained independence from Spain years back. Today is also commemorated as 4th of July in US. Americans come together on July 4th to celebrate nation's birthday and Independence Day. On this day, most Americans enjoy grills in their backyards, at beaches, or in parks. Some partake in parades or marches and enjoy the fireworks that are often launched at dusk. They kick off festivities with details, trivia, and anything else you need to know about Independence Day. Happy 4th. The story of America's independence is truly fascinating, with more historical twists and turns than we possibly get into here. But at least we can get you started with the basics. In 1700s, America wasn't really a nation of United States. Instead, there were 13 colonies with distinct personalities. From 1763 to 1773, Britain's King George III increasingly placed pressure on the colonies as he and British Parliament enacted a succession of draconian taxes and laws on them. Excessive taxes on British luxury goods like tea and sugar were designated to benefit the British Crown without any regard for the hardships of colonists. By 1764, the phrase taxation without representation is tyranny spread throughout the colonies as rallying cry of outrage. The more the colonists rebelled, the more King George doubled down with force. Imagine if enemy soldiers not only had the right to enter your home, but the soldiers could demand that you feed them and house them. The Quartering Act of 1765 allowed British soldiers to do just that. But the Stamp Act of 1765 became the straw that broke the colonists' backs. Passed by the Parliament in March, this act taxed any piece of printed paper, including newspapers, legal documents, ship papers, and even playing cards. As the colonial grumbling got louder and bolder in the fall of 1768, British ships arrived in Boston Harbor as a show of force, and British Navy dominated the seas all over the world due to far-reaching presence of the British Empire. Tensions boiled over on March 5th, 1770, in Boston Harbor during a street fight between a group of colonists and British soldiers. The soldiers fired shots that killed 47-year-old Crispus Attucks, the first American and black man to die along with the 3 other colonists in the Boston Massacre. In 1773, the Boston Tea Party, from which today's Tea Party Republicans get their name, erupted when colonists disguised as Mohican Indians raided a British ship, dumping all the tea overboard to avoid paying the taxes. Continued pressure led to resistance and start of Revolutionary War in the towns of Lexington and Concord when a military of patriots battled British soldiers on April 19, 1775. Conditions were ripe for American independence. When the first battles in Revolutionary War broke out in April 1775, only a handful of colonists wished for total independence from Great Britain, and those who did were considered extremists. However, halfway through the following year, many colonists had come to learn more towards independence as a result of growing hostility towards Britain and spread of revolutionary views, like those conveyed in the best-selling pamphlet published in early 1776 by Thomas Paine, Common Sense. On June 7, 1776, the Continental Congress met at the Pennsylvania State House, later Independence Hall in Philadelphia, and Richard Henry Lee. The Virginia delegate introduced a motion calling for independence of colonies. Amid heated debate, Congress rescheduled the vote on Lee's resolution, but appointed a 5-man committee, including Thomas Jefferson of Virginia, John Adams of Massachusetts, Roger Sherman of Connecticut, Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania, and Robert R. Livingston of New York to draft a formal statement justifying the defect from Great Britain. On July 2, 1776, in a virtually unanimous vote, the Continental Congress voted in favor of Lee's resolution for independence. On July 4th, it is formally adopted the Declaration of Independence, which had been written largely by Jefferson. Ultimately, the drafting of the Declaration of Independence was a contentious process after much debate over what to include and what to leave out. Thomas Jefferson, tasked with pulling the document together, envisioned a nature where life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness crystallized the very meaning of being an American. The document proclaimed the 13 American colonies' liberation from Britain and reaffirmed their rights as freemen, declaring that there was no longer subject and subordinate to the monarch of Britain, King George III, and were now united, free and independent states. John Adams wrote to his wife, Abigail, that July 2nd will be celebrated by succeeding generations as a great anniversary festivals, and the celebration should include pomp and parade, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end to this continent to the other. By an extraordinary coincidence, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, and the only two signatories of the Declaration of Independence later to serve as presidents of United States, both died on the same day. July 4th, 1826, which was the 50th anniversary of the Declaration, although not signatory of the Declaration of Independence, James Monroe, another founding father who was elected as a president, also died on July 4th, 1831, making him third president who died on the anniversary of independence. The only US president to have been born on Independence Day was Calvin Coolidge, who was born on July 4th, 1870. Today is also commemorated as Independence from Meat Day on July 4th. Is observed across the world on July 4th. As you might have noticed, more and more people across the world are choosing vegetarian and vegan lifestyles. This is because both lifestyles promise increased health benefits by limiting meat from our diets. There are few moral and environmental implications of these lifestyles too. Even if you do not want to give up eating meat, you could observe Independence from Meat Day as an opportunity to enjoy a different kind of diet, give your palate a do over, and find out what life is for vegans and vegetarians. The Vegetarian Awareness Network, founded from Independence from Meat Day, Knoxville, Tennessee. The reason why Independence from Meat is celebrated on July 4th is that also one of the most popular days in the world, grilling meat outside. We will resume in a minute. So the Vegetarian Awareness Network founded independence from meat. Dan Knoxville, Tennessee. The reason why Independence from Meat Day is celebrated on July 4th is that it is also one of the most popular days in the world for grilling meat outside. Chicken, lamb, pork, beef, and all kinds of meats are grilled and barbecued to celebrate American independence. However, staunch vegans and vegetarians believe that eating meat does more harm than good, and that is terrible for our health and the environment. While science does not agree with this line of thought, it is true that eating fried and grilled meat regularly can be bad for health. The fact that consumption and harvesting of meat are bad for the environment is a well known fact. Think about the sheer amount of water used in the production of commercial meat and animal products. Added to that is the amount of land needed to house all these animals. Scientists have successfully proven that cow flatulence accounts for more than greenhouse gas emissions than every car in the world combined. The fact that consumption and harvesting of meat are bad for the environment is a well known fact. Moreover, certain preparations of meat can be bad for our health. The char that forms on the meat when it's grilled has significantly higher rate of carcinogens in it than meat prepared in any other way. Similarly, when we fry meat, the large amount of fat consumption can be especially bad for our hearts, negatively affecting our cholesterol and blood pressure levels. The non-profit organization for animal rights is founded People for Ethical Treatment of Animals in 1980. The first company to make plant-based meat is Beyond Meat in 1970s. It Vegan Awareness Foundation, it advocates for the vegan lifestyle in 1995. The Vegetarian Awareness Network 1999 advocates for the vegetarian lifestyle. It is vegetarians appear to have a lower density lipoprotein cholesterol levels, lower blood pressure, and lower rates of hypertension and type 2 diabetes than meat eaters. Vegetarian diets and more stringent vegan plans can lead to stroke risk, harm to brain health, hair loss, and depression. So vegetarians only avoid meat, while vegans avoid all animal products, including dairy, eggs. Vegans may be more susceptible to nutritional deficiency in iron, vitamin D, calcium, and protein, but can be safely met with effective choices in vegetarian. Like soy, taking soy will compensate the meat consumption. So there is no better way to observe independence from meat day than by going to vegetarian. Eat meat for a day and make sure to eat plant-based products. Who knows, it might even convince you to make a permanent switch. Everyone you know is grilling meat today. Just because you choose to be a vegetarian for the day doesn't mean you can't have grilled food. Celebrate independence from meat day by grilling your favorite vegetables. Take independence from meat day a step further by eating vegan food only. This means no meat and no dairy. Try nut based milk, greens, and fruits. It sure would be an interesting experience. So, being vegetarianism can improve metabolic function by 16%, and 20,000 pounds of potatoes can grow on 1 acre of land and can feed more people. India has most vegetarians. 70% of all vegetarians in the world are from India. So India has most vegetarians. 70% of all vegetarians in the world are from India. India has ample sources of protein. Green and pulses are good sources of protein, and especially colon and prostate cancer can be prevented by staying vegetarian. You can save up to 600 a year by eating vegetarian food and completely cutting meat from your diet. If you have been looking to cut expenditure, independence from meat day shows you how to go about it. Eating meat contributes to water and land shortage and significant increases in greenhouse gases. A great way to do your bit for the environment is by pledging to go off meat on independence from meat day. It's good. Removing meat and animal based products could go wonders on your health. Consult your doctor on Independence Day from meat day to find out what alternatives for meat would suit you the best. Today is also commemorated as Invisible Day in US. For many Americans, July 4th is a day of patriotic celebration of country's independence, but at the same time, for many others, it is also Invisible Day. The day calls for awareness and promotion of the idea of separating the state from religion. Former governor of Minnesota, Gis Ventura, believed that phrase under God is a pledge of allegiance so against the establishment clause of America's Constitution in educational settings, namely schools. Such statements from Ventura were not taken lightly, especially after his explosive interview with Playboy, in which he quoted saying that religion is a sham and crutch for weak minded people, while many opposed Ventura's stance and many others lauded his viewpoint, stating that he was merely talking about people's unity as a nation. So the first Invisible Day was commemorated in 2002 by Jesse Ventura, who at that time was governor of Minnesota. Ventura was born in 1951 as James George Janos in Minneapolis, Minnesota, starting from 1969 to 1975. He served in the US Navy. This time period was also when the Vietnam War was taking place, but Ventura did not go to combat. In the coming years, Ventura started getting into professional wrestling. He made his stage name Jesse the Body Ventura, picking up the surname from a map. He wanted to project his persona as a bullish and beach bodybuilder. After winning several wrestling matches and awards, he retired and started commemorating and acting, appearing in the movies like Predator, Zorro, and Abracus Guardian of the Universe, and so. Today is also commemorated as Jackfruit Day in India. It is celebrated on July 4th every year. The tropical fruit is a natural fruit of Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. Along with being the state fruit of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, India, the fruit has spiky outer skin and is native to the parts of South and Southeast Asia. Today, the fruit is known as a popular meat substitute for people adhering to a plant based diet. It is high in vitamins and antioxidants, making it a healthy addition to any diet. Jackfruits are also referred to as jack, katal, or chekka, among other names. So humans have been consuming jackfruits for millennia, though no one is completely certain of where fruit came from. It is believed to be indigenous to the western Ghats of India. The jack tree, an evergreen tree, thrives in hot weather and moist tropical climates. The fruit is majorly produced within Asia, though attempts were made to grow food in Hawaii before 1888. The word jackfruit is derived from the Portuguese jacka and in turn from the Malayalam word chekka. Portuguese naturalist and scholar Garcia da Horta used an English term jackfruit in a book he wrote in 1563. As a result of colonialism, the jackfruit has made its rounds across the globe. It is now grown in several countries that used to be colonies of European empires. The fruit thus is used in cuisines across the world in several different forms. Jackfruit can be found in jams, pickles, ice creams, desserts, and all the other types of meal preparations. Recently, the global north has begun consuming jackfruit as a meat substitute due to its meat-like texture when cooked. The fruit has several varieties, each one of it fit to deliver a unique gastronomic experience. Ripened jackfruits are said to have a pungent odor that may be intimidating at first, which is probably why many people purchase unripened jackfruits to avoid it. So, the taste of the fruit is often described as mellow. Jackfruit Day was established as jackfruitday.com in 2016 to raise awareness about fruit and versatility. So, jackfruit is called a variety of names in India depending on the language, including Kathal, Hindi, Kotal, Assamese, Chakka, Malayali, Panas, Marathi, Onas, Konkani, and Halsa, Kannadiga, and Panasapandu in Telugu. So, Panruti in Tamil Nadu, India is the most famous destination for lovers of jackfruit. Unripe jackfruit is used as a meat substitute because of its unripened nature. The fruit is tasteless on its own and takes the flavor of its seasoning. Jackfruit is enjoyed across the globe raw. This Jackfruit Day, why not give the fruit a try? Jackfruit can be cooked in a variety of ways. If you are so inclined, cook something with jackfruit in it, be it a savory or sweet. If neither cooking nor eating the jackfruit is raw, your cup of tea, try to find out an eatery around you that uses jackfruit as an ingredient and taste something new. The largest fruit grown on a tree is the jackfruit. The bark of the jackfruit tree is used to dye the robes of Buddhist monks orange. It is a natural dye. So the jackfruit tree belongs to the mulberry family and they are fruitful. A mature jackfruit tree can yield between 100 to 200 fruits a year. The lifespan of a jackfruit is 60 to 70 years and has a long lifespan. The jackfruits have been part of cuisines across the globe. It fully supports celebration of such a versatile and nutritious food source. The fruit is well liked like meat substitute, and Jackfruit Day may potentially increase the fruit to open looking for a suitable meat substitute. Jackfruit is a delightful gastronomic experience. The day is a perfect excuse to try out for the food first time. Today is also commemorated as National Barbecue Spare Ribs Day in US, which is celebrated by grilling various kinds of meats and vegetables. But we focus on vegetables because that is more sustainable and eco-friendly. Barbecue lunches are common and everyone is eager to show off their grilling skills. Spare ribs were intended to be served grilled, short or long, over charcoal or gas, and in the heat of summer and various dips and sauces. That's the way to enjoy spare ribs. National Barbecue Spare Ribs Day reminds us the summer is incomplete without a barbecue with friends, family, and spare ribs. But we focus on only vegetable here. So National Caesar Salad Day is also commemorated today. One of the most universally loved and known salads is Caesar salad. So salad is actually a classical traditional Caesar salad. Consists of croutons, fresh romaine lettuce, parmesan, and a zippy dressing containing lemon juice, garlic salt, Worcestershire sauce, and pepper. The best part is that there isn't a restaurant in the country that does not serve Caesar salad or some version of it, especially if that restaurant is an Italian. They have both veggie version and egg version. Veggie is more sustainable and healthy. Today is also commemorated as National Hilly Day. Is a day that recognizes hillbilly culture and celebrates traditions and lifestyles of those that reside in rural areas of the southern United States. Hillbillies have a reputation for living a very different life than those who live in urban and suburban areas. The term hillbilly was often used to refer to the community who lived in the Appalachian Mountains of Kentucky and West Virginia. The history of hillbillies is a long and colorful one. Hillbillies are often described as simple country folk who live in rural, remote areas of the South are often out of touch with modern society. Hillbillies are also known for their love of moonshine, a homemade liquor, so named because it was originally legal, and the only way to avoid getting caught was to make it at night time. The stereotypical hillbilly also has a kinship with nature and animals. National Hillbilly Day offers a chance for the people to honor the spirit, heritage, and culture of Appalachia and its people. It's time to show appreciation for bluegrass music, workmanship, catfish catching prowess that is part of the rich tradition. Today is also commemorated as Philippines Republic Day in Philippines, which is the celebration of the Philippines independence. Called Philippine American Friendship Day, was once an official holiday with the title Independence Day. It is a commemorative of the Treaty of Manila, which was signed in 1946, liberating the Philippines from American rule. This day marks the end of over 48 years of American rule, lasting from 1898 to 1946. So today is also commemorated as Rwanda Liberation Day on July 14th, 2024. Rwanda Liberation Day on July 4th is observed because it marks the end of period under tyrannical government and the beginning of freedom from oppression. It represents the end of dictatorship and the start of democracy. This date is also the anniversary of Rwandan Patriotic Front liberating the country and ending the 1994 genocide against Tutsi. The day is known locally as Gibora. Today is also commemorated as Thirsty Sunday. It's celebrated by party goers on the first Thursday in July every year. It was informally holiday was started by college students who would party on campus. But today, of course, the holiday is celebrated by everyone who likes to have a good time and live it up. Since Thursday is also close to weekend, Thursday Saturday also sets a tone for the weekend full of having fun, drinking and eating. There is a great way to meet your friends, relax, have a good time, and if you really enjoy celebrations, you can continue to observe them throughout the year. Bring out party hats for Thirsty Thursday. In 1980s and 1990s, clubbing became commercialized, but soon after, in the 2010, clubbing started to decline. This is mainly because younger people have taken on social media and dating apps and do not need to go to clubs to meet new people. So, with this, we shall end today's commemorations. We thank everyone for joining us. So, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls. And as we are doing every day, let's pray for a couple of minutes for global peace and harmony. Let's offer our prayers, meditation for a couple of minutes before we leave the platform. Thank you for everyone joining in for the prayer and meditation for the global peace and harmony. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link with different commemorations. Take care. Good night.